Today, on this journey of coaching my kids how to become leaders, on this day, on this journey of learning to give my players autonomy so that they can conduct themselves, I was disappointed in two of my players, extremely disappointed. Players that frankly gave up, not going against one of our values. But what I was so proud of is all those other players who said we are sticking with what we do. It doesn't matter how difficult things get. It doesn't matter how many things go against us. We stick with it. And I had left it up to the players. This was the first time that I had said, okay, team. I gave them a drill to accomplish, and I noticed two players were not doing the drill well. Initially, on a previous drill we had done, and I told my players, if you guys are ever doing a drill, and keep in mind, I was not talking. This was one of the drills that I give my players to do, and they have to organize the drill themselves. It's a previous drill they've done, but I don't tell them what to do. I don't remind them of anything. It's their job to discuss it and figure it out on their own. And to do this drill a number of times successfully. And I noticed in this drill at the beginning, there were two players that were completely messing up the quality of the drill. So after they finally got the drill, after all that time, I didn't say anything, but it took a long time, probably 4 to 5 times longer than it should have. I told the team, players, if you are ever trying to accomplish a goal, a task, and you notice players are messing up the drill, you have the right to kick that player out of the drill so that you can accomplish the task. I gave that autonomy to my players. So later, we do another drill towards the end of practice, and these same two players, when I got them to do the drill on their own, they sat out. They didn't want to do the drill. I gave them the autonomy. They chose it. I didn't say anything. All I said was, here's another drill. Figure it out. And they decided to sit themselves out. They came to me. I didn't say anything. I let them make their own choices, because it is important that as adults, there is some control in the environment, but we need to help kids learn these leadership lessons and internalize what they are doing, the consequences of what they are doing, the benefits of what they are doing, the skills that they are learning. I do not believe the best way is to come at it from an authoritarian position. So I let them decide, okay, you sit out. I didn't say anything, but the other players, they went on with the drill. And what I really like so much is that one of the players who said, I'll sit out because, I'm not feeling well, he said, if you sit out, you don't join the rest of the training. You're done for the training. And that is the team that I want to build. I want to build a team that if you come in our environment and you're not willing to do what we need to do to accomplish a task, then you can leave. And that's the authority I want to give my players. I want my players to hold each other accountable. I want to give them authority. Part of giving people authority and autonomy is that some people aren't going to get with the program, but those who get with the program are going to let those other people know. And you will never, ever have an environment like this if you are telling your players what to do. You can dream of it. You can tell your players and talk all day long about you need to do this, you need to do that. But when it comes down to it and you are not there telling them what to do, they will not do it, because you are not pulling yourself back and letting your players figure out the difficulties of a situation. You are not giving your players the authority to do things on their own. Even when it looks ugly and messy, you always want to intervene. If you want this, if you want your players holding players accountable without you even having to be there, and I tell my players this every time, you guys have to run practices and games without me. That's the goal. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you give players autonomy, players will do different things. And with time, you can only hope that the environment gets to a point where the personalities of the people that carry the team are so strong that if you're not with the program, you're done. So these are players that normally start. One of them, he knows automatically before every game he starts. And this was the first time that he just quit. And maybe because it's the first time that I gave him this much autonomy. And I actually kind of like this. I don't like it, but I kind of like it because there is no better way to teach a lesson than for someone to experience it. And the lesson that I'm going to teach this player is you can do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But there are consequences when you fail to do what you should do in order to help the team accomplish a task. When you quit on your team, you don't deserve a right. You don't deserve a spot. There's no right to a spot. You don't deserve it. There's no handouts here. There's no, what's that word that starts with an E? Entitlement. There's no entitlement here. If you don't do the work while everybody else is doing the work, you don't get anything. So this is a player that starts, but I'm not going to play him for the first half. I'll play him towards the end of the game in the second half at best. At best. Same with the other player, at best. And one of the things that I have to be willing to face as a coach is the parents are going to come to me, and this is my prediction anyway. We'll see what actually happens. But the parents are going to come to me and say, why didn't my player play? And I'm going to explain to them, and they might come back at me with, well, you're the coach. Why didn't you tell him to do this? And that's where I will have to stay firm in my way of coaching, my unconventional methods, where my goal is to have these guys become leaders. And what I am beginning to learn is that not everybody's with the program. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you're with the program or not. I'm not going to change for you because I know the right thing. And this is the right thing. The right thing is not telling kids everything to do every single time. The right thing is to give them autonomy and teach them along the way. Have them learn from each other. And this is real life. There are consequences. There's no entitlement. Entitlement is some garbage that can be sheltered when kids and people are young. But in the real world, entitlement is garbage. You get what you put in. So there's no entitlement here. I'm not going to decide for players. I'm going to stand firm. If the players want to leave, let them leave. But one thing is for sure. I'm not going to contribute to the mediocrity of coaching that has plagued youth soccer and youth sports in general. I'm not going to contribute to it. I'm going to better it. I have chosen as a coach to not do this if I am not bettering the kids in life. And that's just my decision. So, again, this was not clean. This was just straight raw, but I say this because this is how I feel at this time, and it's important that I recorded it now and that I didn't wait tomorrow because I didn't want the feelings to subside. I wanted the raw feelings. And I do this because some of you coaches out there will come up against this. The biggest thing about this way of coaching is standing firm in what you believe in.